All right, going into 2024, this is a tool that I think is worthy of speaking about because we test a lot of stuff around here, and obviously we're always looking at the fastest and easiest ways to do things. And so we've been testing these for a little over a year, and I've tried a lot of torque wrenches in the past, and I know Lurch has too, and we still have some older ones in the toolbox, but we picked these things up, and like I say, they're worthy of noting. So they are the AC Delco ARM 601 is what they're called. Don't worry, we will put a link in the show notes to these. It comes in a set, which I really liked, and we didn't know anything about AC Delco. And I'm not talking about the rest of their tool line, or even if they make a rest of a tool line, but they make torque wrenches anyways. And they're coming a pack of 2 here, the one I'm recommending, heavy duty digital torque wrench combo kit with buzzer and LED flash notifications. And they do have a certificate of calibration, which is important to me. So it's not just some weird, cheap knockoff. They are calibrated, and that comes with them. It's a 3/8 inch and a 1/2 inch drive. They are heavy duty. We have, like I said, used them on a lot of projects. You'll see them in a lot of our videos on YouTube now that we're doing when we have to torque stuff. They give a nice visual, so they're digital, a nice visual. You know, you can set it for foot-pounds. We have the foot-pounds or inch-pounds. And it has not only a visual, but Lurch, I know, really likes the little bit of audible as you get to that torque spec instead of like the old style that just click. It lets you know when you're getting close. It kind of beeps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it starts off with a slow little, it goes dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and it gives you a solid beep. So it's kind of.
Can you do that again? How's it go?
No, I'm only doing it once.
How does it go?
It gives you a broken beep, and then it gives you a solid beep when you get to it. So it kind of lets you know you're getting close to it.
Yep.
I do like that.
So we highly recommend them. They've held up. They've stood the test of time. They take batteries, and we have the original batteries in them, so those last too. lawabidingbiker.com/torque. If you don't know how to spell that, it's TORQUE-wrenches. That's lawabidingbiker.com/torque-wrenches. No additional cost to you if you click through that link and make a purchase. We do get a small commission. We appreciate you supporting us in that ways, and you're going to be getting some great torque wrenches. And Lurch will also put it in the show notes, whatever podcast player you're listening in. It'll either be at the bottom or wherever the show notes are, and there'll be a link. Or you can always just go to lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is titled, just / the episode number, and the show notes will always be right there on our main website. You want to ride longer? Are you tired of a sore and achy ass, Bikeaholics? Right here in 2024, there is no excuse ever again in 2024 to have a sore ass, because you can fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions in stock, ready to ship to you all. Know that. So you can go all through 2024. That should be your New Year's resolution, is not having a sore and achy ass when you're long distance riding. We got us what do we got? Oh, we got a voicemail here.
Yeah, goes really well with this last commercial you just did.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. Okay, well, there you go.
So perfect timing.
This is Steve from Manalapan, New Jersey. Just going to tell you, I've never heard a company that's more interested in making my butt feel better than Law Abiding Biker.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny. I
didn't even know that, dude. I didn't listen to that voicemail
before.
You didn't? No.
We just got it like this morning.
Okay, yeah.
As you and I were working at the coffee shop getting ready for today, we got it and I pulled it out and threw it in there.
That was Steve Castell of New Jersey, longtime listener and contributor. Leaves us a lot of voicemails over the years, and we appreciate it so very much. He simply went over to lawabidingbiker.com/contact is how he did that. Right there from your phone or computer, you can use the built-in microphone, and you can leave a free message from anywhere in the world. And we would love to hear your lovely voices and get them on the platform. You can also leave an email if you're more comfortable doing that over there, but we love to hear your voices. But we'll certainly take there's a contact form over there. Again, it's all over, very simple, lawabidingbiker.com/contact. All right, don't forget to, if you guys are listening in our free app, you can go to lawabidingbiker.com/app. And right there, you can get it for Android, iOS, but we have our own podcast app. And it makes it super simple to stay up with things. And right there, there's our podcast hotline phone number. And so if you're listening on your phone, you can literally hit that podcast hotline phone number and make a call and leave us a voicemail. And again, the app is it's really easy to use and one of the best ways to consume our podcast. Again, very simple, lawabidingbiker.com/app will get you over to the page so you can click your respective app store and get that. And it is free, guys. It is free. Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike.
I like gold.
Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero 3D products. All right, Lurch, I'm looking. There we go. Oh yeah, once you've used Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now. Should be another 2024 resolution is not to use clumsy straps and bungee cords and all that crap. Just start 24 out right and to travel in style. Get to your hotel literally 15 seconds max. Bags off, rolling into your room, and just as easy in the morning when you get loaded up. Here we go. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large, and in charge of the motorcycle scene. That's right. By being here, by listening, you're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
We, Lurch and I, do have just one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
There you go. Ryan Urlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast and your
high-tech redneck.
It is just Lurch and I in the studio today, but we've got an awesome episode for you guys. And the main topic, we're going to put this one out right away because we're recording it before this event. Anyways, 2024, Harley-Davidson has made some announcements. There is some of their bikes live on the site, and coming up here in short order, which we'll mention, is they're going to do a virtual event. So you're going to get this podcast before that. We've got a bunch of insight, some factual stuff, and I and Lurch are going to make some bold predictions, and we may actually have varying or differing, I should say, predictions. So we haven't talked about it a lot, Lurch and I. We've educated ourselves on it, so I'll be curious to see what he has to say, as you guys will, I know. And then I'll make my predictions too. And maybe I can get Lurch to come my way a little bit, and maybe he can get me to come his way a little bit, or maybe we'll just get the boxing gloves out and just have a brawl in here, guys. It would be really good audio to have a brawl with audio only. We could just they could hear us punching in the back and stuff like that. You could hear Lurch screaming like a little bitch when I school him.
Whatever.
Okay, guys. So we do have a new free video. We've putting out videos like crazy on the YouTube channel. Get over there, get subscribed. You're missing out if you're not part of the YouTube channel and you're not subscribed over there. Lurch?
I chose this video to announce because it's on topic. So the video is Get in the Know before Harley releases 2024 models. Facts, insights, my predictions.
Wow, that's a very interesting video that you picked. Well done.
It just happened to be on topic, so that's why I brought it in today. But you can go to the show notes and you can get a link to that video and see what your predictions were in short form, if you will.
Yeah.
Because on the podcast, obviously, you can go quite a bit longer.
Yep, very good. So that video is out, already a ton of views as of a couple days ago, blowing up, tons of comments. Get over there, get involved, see the video. Lurch will put it in the show notes, or you can just go to the YouTube channel because by the time you listen to this, there won't be any other video up. That's going to be the top video on the channel. So yeah, check it out. It's a little more succinct and some visuals involved with it too, of course, because it's a video. And see all the comments over there and add your comments. Let us know what you think and your predictions. But that's the nice thing about long form content in the podcast, which is a different dynamic that we offer than most YouTube channels. We have the YouTube channel, but we also have the podcast going on 11 years here. And because we can get a little more personal about it, and we can break it down more and actually have a deeper conversation, because you got to make your videos pretty succinct to keep people's attention these days, unfortunately, on the video platform, specifically YouTube. So now we appreciate our long-standing sponsors up front, but these folks are also the reason we're still coming to you after 11 freaking years here in 2024. So we want to thank the following new patrons.
We'd like to thank Jeremy Sackett of Menifee, California, Christopher Wright of McConnell, South Carolina, he's top tier, and Henry Murphy of Smyrna, Tennessee.
Thank you going into 24. It means so much to us. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's right. You simply pledge a certain amount per piece of content that we release. There is no risk because you can put a monthly cap on how much you're willing to spend. There are many benefits for signing up, such as t-shirts and stickers. You get access to the private Facebook group, which is a troll-free zone, nothing but bikers helping and connecting with bikers in there. And there are many events going on in that private Facebook group for this year. Meetups all across the U.S. It's going to be crazy. So you got to get in there for 2024. Just do it. Take the leap. Be part of this awesome community and help us grow it. You get access to podcasts early, oftentimes months before everybody else. You get access to live video broadcasts and chat. Your top tier, get access to the premium videos, and mid-tier and above, of course, access to our ride, meetup, and events. As I just mentioned, several, at least 3 that we know for sure going on in 2024. And of course, the one we're going to be at when we go down to Nashville. And we've, do you have that in there? Let's just give them a little bit of that. It's probably right at the top. There we go.
Right at the top.
All right. So this is the one I'm going to tell you about. There's multiples. We've got a 2024 non-sanctioned patron meetup, Northwest, right? That's by patron member Brad Johnson. Again, it's all in the private Facebook group. That's going to be a large one and a fun one. And then we've got the 2024 Midwest non-sanctioned patron meetup, which is organized by patron member Chris Lezak. That's going to be a great one. And then here is ours, which is, this is the one we're going to attend for sure. We may or may not be at the other ones, but this one I can guarantee you we will be at. It is actually being put on by patron member Russell Roberts. Again, it will be in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Here's what you need to do. We have a complete page dedicated to that meetup on the website, along with the video there that I did. It tells you all about it. And you simply need to go right here, lawabidingbiker.com/2024 meetup. That's lawabidingbiker.com/2024 meetup. Lurch will put it in the show notes so that you can hit that link. But again, Saturday, June 8th, 2024, just some general facts about it, is when that's going to happen in the Southwest Nashville, Tennessee area. There's going to be a ride and there's a venue rented. We're going to provide a catered meal. Russell already has the site locked down. Anyways, again, just head over to that. Now, the only way, this one, it has a very specific sign up. Again, lawabidingbiker.com/2024 meetup is the one page where you can get all this, but I just want to mention it. You've actually, and the specifications are over on that page, but I'll just mention them to you. You must email patron member Russell Roberts. This is the only way. You can't sign up on Facebook. You can't sign up anywhere else. You've got to email Russell Roberts at Russell, that's 2 L's, Russell, 2 S's, 2 L's, Russell Dean Roberts. That's Russell Dean Roberts at gmail.com. Russell Dean Roberts at gmail.com. No later than April 1st, 2024, and you must have a paid patron membership by that date. Now, if you don't hear back from Russell when you email, there is a problem. Something went wrong, so you must try again because you will not be on the list. The reason you must be confirmed as a participant, you got to be vetted and all that, verification, your patron account, and that's the only way that you're going to get the exact details of the event. You won't know exactly where or when or how or anything like that. So that will be emailed to you days before the event. But make sure you hear back from Russell so that he knows he's got you locked in and everything's been verified and that you will be assured to get the final information, again, days before the event.
And it looks like we've got plenty of people signing up. I just logged into the
you
sheet.
guys have a sheet going, don't you?
I hadn't looked at it in a little while, so I was curious.
And this is early.
This is early, yeah. We got a good group going.
Nice. It's going to be a great event. Again, not sanctioned. It's by us. We're not technically organizing it. We're very lightly assisting. Of course, we wanted to take care of the catered meal and some of that, but this is definitely all Russell Roberts and then other folks he may have helping in. yeah, so this event is going to be during our 12-day East Coast Soarin' Few Motorcycle Club trip, which is a club we're involved with behind the scenes. It's separate from Law Abiding Biker Media, but it intertwines. And so we're going to be on our trip anyways over there, and we'll be laying down some miles with very long days and very short nights, if you guys have seen any of our documentary films. So just understand we won't be able to meet anywhere else during that trip with anyone except this day and time. After we're done there and before, we have got a lot. We'll be shooting a doc film. So we just have no time, and that's just the way it goes when we're on these long distance trips. So just wanted to throw that. Anything else, Lurch, about those trips?
Not at all. I think you covered it very well.
All right, very good. So with that said, let's just dive into our main topic. Again, I did a video on this, but man, I've got some other things to say that I wasn't able to say in the video. So hopefully we'll have a good time. You can also comment on the podcast if you want at lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is. We have conversations right on the website and the show notes sometimes. So that's fun too. So I'll just get it started off, Lurch, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then you can kind of dive in. We'll just lay the foundation here. So this happened pretty quick. I was kind of expecting it, but we're just getting started here in 2024. And like I stated up front, the models, if you haven't been over to the Harley-Davidson website, I call it a soft pre-launch. So yeah, I named that. You like that?
I think it sounds like you're putting a couple things together, but I like it. Not just a pre-launch, not just a soft launch, a soft pre-launch.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
It's just some of a little bit of candy.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little candy dangling in front of you. That's it. But the deal is, those are live on the website. And honestly, I'm going to say just up front, none of it is jaw dropping. That's why I call it a very soft pre-launch. It's like, oh, okay, we've got 2023 bikes with a 2024 title, with some paint and pricing stuff, which we'll talk about. So, not super, impressive, but I don't mean that in a mean way. You can't blow people's minds all the time. That's just not, it doesn't matter what company or industry it is. And it's a soft pre-launch. So we knew right away, I was like, okay, so they're going to soft pre-launch, but there's a lot of bikes missing from the website. And so we're like, well, what are they doing with that? So what Harley does, and seems to become somewhat norm, we're not going to go over the specs. We're going to lightly talk about, just because we have to reference some of the bikes that are on the website. But in this podcast, we're not going to go over every detail and spec and colors and all that, because it's, like I said, it's not real jaw-dropping, because in this podcast, we've got much bigger things to talk to you about. So Harley has a virtual event, and it is named American Dreamin', scheduled for January 24th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Central Time. We will put a link in the show notes in the description where you can get signed up to view it. Now, this virtual event, Lurch, is, like I say, always where Harley's going to actually be making the big announcements. We've got the missing bikes from the website, which we're going to get into. This is where they're going to make the announcements that hopefully in some way will slap you up along the face, or move you or whatever. This is what we care about as the consumer. They're going to announce any other big changes to platforms, things like that. So I'm going to we're going to share with you what's kind of likely coming on the 24th, along with some other bold predictions, like I said, we're going to make. And of course, I'll share my personal wants for Harley, as I'm sure Lurch will, for 2024. So it's just kind of going to be a fun conversation, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if we could hear you talking back to us while you're listening to this in your car or running or whatever, we would love to hear from you. So comment on the video or comment here on the podcast. Because we got a lot to talk about here. So do you want to start with any of the cost stuff, or you want me to? You call it.
Go ahead.
All right. So let's just start with this conversation, and we're just going to get it out of the way. And then I've got some follow-up with it. But the cost, we're just going to talk about the cost of Harley-Davidson motorcycles here in 2024. Now, I know, Lurch, we handle the comments on YouTube, and we can definitely tell you that we get a ton of comments on those videos whenever I'm talking about Harley-Davidson or Harley-Davidson changes or models. One of the biggest complaints we see is people are not happy with the prices today. Now, I'm not going to take necessarily a side on that. Of course, I want lower prices, but I don't understand everything that goes into it. People invest in the company. You've got tons of costs and factories, and are they over, pricing? Are they under? I don't know. But I do know that it's affecting consumers and their ability and their willingness to make a purchase of a new bike. I included. I'll just be honest. You know, I'm still rocking my 2014 Street. Now I've got 3 other bikes, but the 16 Dyna Lowrider S, which we have a couple of those for projects, for videos and stuff, although we do like riding them. And then the 07 Night Train, my 14 Street Glide Special, my main tour, and then a KLR, of course, for adventure riding. But I have not bought a new bike. So like you mentioned, going on, that's 10 years old now this year, right? Well, it's actually already 10 years old because mine I got in August of 13, even though it's a 14. So mine's over 10 years old.
Mine will be 10 pretty shortly.
Yeah.
Mine's a 2015 Road Glide Special.
Yeah. So yours will be next year. And so, so they're getting old. But I haven't upgraded. It takes a lot. I'm kind of cheap. And, and I could have bought one, but, I have a company to run and I like to invest the money back in the company. Rather, my bike runs great. I love the 103 twin cam, one of the best motors ever made, in my opinion. But, at some point I will upgrade. But those high prices, obviously, I look at them and I'm like, if mine's doing fine and I don't need it and nothing major has changed besides a motor, really. I mean, I converted mine from the old boombox, which was big, to the new boombox. But honestly, I ride a M8 at work for my police bike, and I love my Milwaukee 8, but I like the feel of my 103 twin cam even better. And I know that the Milwaukee 8s are going to be out, or they're going to continue, and it's a great motor, but there's just something about my 14 that just has a different feel than all the other bikes I ride. Yeah,
they still were a little bit more tactile back then, those motors. I mean, you get some shake, a little bit of, when we're sitting at a stoplight, you can see your handlebars shake, and all that kind of stuff. And it's got a unique sound to it as well,
And feel.
The feel. It's just, it's just a little bit more
Stage
raw,
one, and it
goes. It's a hell of a runner.
Rip.
Yeah. Is it as fast as some of the newer Milwaukee 8s? No. But I just don't know if that's enough. I need something major.
Yep.
Something major to get me to sell that 15 and move on and spend the bucks to
spend that money.
That's the biggest thing more than anything is the money. Right now I've got mine set up the way I want it with suspension.
Years of setting it up.
Yeah. So it's hard to just walk away from it. It's got to be something big.
Yep. Which are going to be some of our bold predictions coming up in this episode. So it is a problem as far as perception from customers.
Well, I will also say that last year when we went to Milwaukee for the 120th anniversary, we got to do a lot of touring of the different plants,
Yes.
And see what is put into developing those bikes, whether it's, the stress tests or, the sound testing, all the stuff that they do to make sure that these bikes not only hold up, but they sound like they should and feel like they should. There's a lot that goes into them.
Tons of engineers, workers. Yeah. I mean,
so there's
robots.
A lot of overhead. I understand, and I guess I appreciate the cost a little more, but still, it's a big chunk of change.
It is for a motorcycle. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. I don't think that they're not, they've made leaps and bounds and they're premium products, but there's a fine line there, right? Like motorcycling was supposed to be a hobby, right? I mean, some of us use it as our main mode of transportation, but not everybody. And now you're talking about, some serious pricing. So it is a problem. Now, I personally believe that Harley is at least aware of the pricing issues they're having with consumers. The reason I say that, guys, is because 2 bikes we found within the 2024 Sport line up bikes with the Rev Max motors, we did see the price decrease by $1,500. Now, that would be the Nightster Special and the Nightster. The Sportster S actually went up in price. So now I do want to give personally props to Harley on the price decrease. Anywhere in your lineup that you can, I mean, who would talk crap about that, right? Like they at least decreased some prices on a couple of their models. So props to that and props for them even working on it. So I would, me personally, like to see, like, this is probably completely dreaming and you're probably going to laugh at me when I say this, guys, but I'd like to see prices decreased. It's one of my wants for 24, decrease across the board. As it appears, all the other bikes besides those 2 aforementioned have increased. Now, before we talk about that, we want to talk about one cut they did make. I'll let you cover that. But I do want to say the reason I believe they picked those 2 bikes respectively to decrease the prices on their entry-level bikes. if you look at those. And that is genuinely to appeal, to this demographic of younger riders that they have been clearly trying to reel in over the past years. They've got us core customers, which is their main customer, but they're trying so hard. We've talked about that a lot in the past. We're not going to go down that rabbit trail, but in a nutshell, the company will die as their core customers are getting older and out of the market, and they need these new, younger, whatever gens you want to call them, to pick up the sport and buy into the brand loyalty of Harley-Davidson. So I will say, but us, the core customer guys, it doesn't appear at this point that we're going to see any price decreases in 24. Lurch is going to add a little bit to that here in a second, but whatever released on January 24th, my prediction, prices will definitely increase. I can't imagine they're going to come out with new bikes and new features and that they're going to decrease. Now, I do want to finish by saying, all you Indian owners, I know I love Indians, still got a Pursuit sitting in here, guys, still riding the heck out of it when I can't. It's snowing today, but all you Indian owners, yes, I did look into Indian, and they've also increased their prices across their touring lineup. So don't be bashing one way or another, guys. Indian's doing the same exact thing as Harley, so it's not just unique to Harley. So yeah, there you go, Lurch. Now, we did, after my video, I wasn't aware of this point. I was putting that video out, like I was just cranking to get that video out, guys. I won't tell you what I went through to get that out the day I had, but nonetheless, I found out this after, and it is something worth mentioning.
Well, first of all, before I get into the surcharges, which you wanted me to talk about, but think about, have you ever seen cars or motorcycles or anything year to year get cheaper? Unfortunately, that's not the way things go. There's, on a good year, we're going to see at least 2% inflation. We've seen a lot more with this current administration, whatever your political leanings are, So you take COVID into factor, you take inflation, all the interest rates and everything, prices are getting higher. So the fact that they could even reduce anything, like you said, props to them. It's not common. It's not common to see motorcycles or cars or houses.
Fair enough.
You don't buy a house going, boy, I hope this is worth less someday.
Yeah, right.
It's just the way it goes. I mean, unfortunately, as time goes on, inflation goes up and everything, costs of goods go up. But specifically talking about surcharge, Harley-Davidson instituted a surcharge in July of 2021. And from all of my reading, it is in reflection of the supply chain challenges and issues of 20 and 21. Stuff got more expensive. And so there's a surcharge that gets put on from the mothership, gets passed down to dealers. Dealers obviously are not going to just absorb that, most of them, or any of them that I'm aware of. They pass that on to the customer. And Harley-Davidson's not the only one to do that. There was, I bought my KLR in 2022, and there was a surcharge on that bike. It was less because it's a less expensive bike. But the dealer was upfront and honest with me. He says, this comes to us from Kawasaki, and we pass it along. Here's what it costs us, and here's what you're paying. It's the exact same amount. It's just, it is what it is, and I'm not going to absorb it. So
customer always eats it, guys.
Yeah. So what Harley did do is get rid of that surcharge. Now that we're through they've got to a point, I would assume, looking at their financials, where, okay, we're coming out of, we're past COVID, supply chain issues are getting better, prices of materials are getting better. They felt that it was appropriate to remove that surcharge. So there's no surcharge anymore on the new bike. So you're saving yourself some money there, $1,000, $2,000, I think.
Yep.
It was like 2% is what it said.
Okay, is that what it said?
I read, yeah.
So that's a plus, and I appreciate that, because they certainly could have kept that going. So does that, to me, that is big, and it's appreciated, but it doesn't change the tag price. The overall prices, those did go up across the touring lineup. So take that as what it is, but it is what it is. So at least you won't have to pay a surcharge if you decide to get a 2024 bike.
Yeah, it wasn't as high as 2,000. Sorry, I was just doing math in my head. That was not very good. So if you're looking at a $30,000 bike, you'd have a $600 surcharge.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
500 to 1,000 is probably what surcharge is being added on at the time. They're gone now.
Yeah. So if you're looking at, if you want to do somewhat of the math on that, if we're looking at like the Nightsters, then technically with the surcharge, yeah, and that's a correct math. I'm looking at the top. That's correct. So if you're looking at the Nightster, which already went down $1,500, the list price, now you don't have to pay what, a $500-$600. So you're about, $2,000 if you want to take all that into account. So the Nightsters actually went down $2,000. So $1,500, $2,000. I don't think that's whether it's $1,500 or $2,000. I don't think that's a big deal, whether you're going to get in the market, but it's something. And again, maybe that'll get some of the younger demographic into it. So, all right, let's move on. And do you want me to just tackle this, or you want to?
Let me see. What are we doing?
Motors.
We don't have the show notes up on TV, so I was just.
You're just telling me that now? Like you could have told me that before we started or something.
I was following the show notes and it was all going pretty well, but then I just looked away. So
I'm surprised you didn't tell me, hey, that's not working before we hit record. Okay.
So when you said let's talk about this, I wasn't exactly sure what you're talking about. Motors for 2024. So you believe fully that the 107 is going to be no more.
Yes.
And in your video, I think you missed it. You said it was gone, but there is one bike. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Softail Standard
that it is in. But that doesn't bode well for that 107. The fact that it's only in one motor or one bike. So, your take is that that thing's going to be gone. You and I have kind of gone back and forth a little bit trying to figure out, what's going on with these new models coming out, because to me, the touring market has gotten, I shouldn't say touring market, the touring category for Harley-Davidson's gotten pretty cluttered. You've got standards, specials, STs, CVOs. I mean, I can't see them adding anymore. I see them potentially taking one away. And
taking what one away?
I think the standards might go, to be honest.
Oh, the whole model.
Just the whole model. Because if they're not, I mean, that would be the bike that they'd probably have the 107 in, right? The standard model. So if the motor's not being used, we only see it in one bike. I think the whole thing's gone. I think a 107. I agree with you in your prediction that after this year, you're not going to see a 107. But I'll go one further and say that there might not even be standard touring bikes.
Yeah.
I know that's crazy.
It's an interesting prediction.
I know it's crazy, but you look at now they've introduced the ST. You got this intermediate bike. You have a different thought as far as the ST and King of the Baggers, but it just seems like it's getting to a little bit cluttered.
Yeah.
And if the 107's gone, what would they put in a standard?
Well, that was the prediction I made on the video. Is at this point, so here's where we stand.
You think they'll come out with a new motor?
Yeah, so here's where we stand on a little bit of this. Is we had the standards, right? And so we had the 107, and then we had the 114, which obviously is coming, the 114 on the touring bikes that are currently released on the website, which at this time are the Road Glide Limited, Road King Special, and the Ultra Limited, all rocking 114. So their only choice is to kind of keep this from getting too muddy. There has to be a reason to get a special. And the reason that we've always gotten the special models, not going back to 14, but Milwaukee 8 and newer, you've always got a bigger motor and you've always got the bigger infotainment system and some other things like better wheels and, just a few things that
it's a little premium,
different fender, not different fender, but yeah, just a little more premium. So color options. Yeah. So there has to be a reason, kind of like the CVOs from the standard lineup. And I have a real tough time believing that they would get rid of the standard model, only because they are aware of the pricing thing. And the standard was always for the guy that was already pinching pennies. And that's it. He could only get the base model. And for them to wax that out would really, I think, affect customers even worse with these premium bikes. Essentially, your special would just be called the Road Glide or the Street Glide. Then I'm not disagreeing with you. Very well, your prediction could be where I'm about 50-50. I'm just making the argument for the other way.
When I look at the soft pre-launch and you look at the bikes that are out there, why isn't the standards in that group though? It's right. That's what's kind of making me wonder. If they had the standards in that group with 107, right, whatever, some new motor, they still could though. They still could.
We only see this 107 on the Softail standard. Now I say if that's all it's in, I say it's dying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they couldn't have made some other changes to the standards and it's still going to rock the 107. They just haven't announced it yet. They're saving it for their virtual event. See what I'm saying?
Could they put the VVT in that? That's a Milwaukee 8.
Right. Well, here's my other thing. So you could technically, and since we're talking motors, I believe my prediction is whatever special models they release on the January event, it's going to come, it'll be a 114, but it'll be VVT. So the other thing they could do, I said they could make like a 111, right? Or something just a little bit bigger than the 107, a 110, 111, that would be in the standard models. So we're either going to see a new motor, or they could also put the 114 in those standards without VVT. And then the specials would get VVT.
Okay.
They got to separate them if they're going to keep the standard.
I agree.
And I just can't see them getting rid of it as a base model. I either think it's going to have the 107 and it may have some other changes, or they're just it'll have a different 111, or something like that they've done. Spiced it a little bit, but yet the 114 is still bigger, better. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's weird what they're doing with motors right now.
Yeah.
Because they always have the
fact that they're not part of the pre-launch makes me really wonder. And that's why I'm willing to go out and I could be completely wrong, but that's what we do here.
Right. This is the fun.
This is the fun of it.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, awesome. If I'm not, so what?
I'm going to be wrong on a lot of shit. Trust me. I already know.
Shot, right?
I don't care.
It just is weird. The only ones they've got out right now on the website are for the Grand American Touring is the Road King Special. There's no Road King Standard.
Yeah, they got rid of the standard.
Okay.
Well, we think.
Well, it's not been released yet.
Right. Which so they wouldn't release the special and not the standard, I don't think.
And then they've got the Road Glide Limited and the Ultra Limited. So there's no Road King Standard. There's no Street Glides. There's no Road Glides. I mean, that's
which brings up
something big's going on in the touring market. So I'll make two predictions. I think they are actually moving away from being so concerned about having an economical bike for the guy that wants to get in. I think they're going to focus on the ones that are the most popular that sell. And my prediction is they're going to
standards sell a lot.
I don't know.
I do know. Standards sell a lot. I see them all the time out on the roads.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just stopped one the other day. Yeah.
I'm just saying based on my experience.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to look up the numbers on that.
Sure. I mean, this is purely just my experience. I don't have the sales.
I definitely know people. In fact, Cowboy bought a standard.
Yeah.
So
he's the only guy that I know that's got one. So I'm saying from my experience.
Right.
This is just my experience.
In a demographic and people that have money in a certain demographic. Yes.
This is 100% just
these
my
bikes
experience.
are expensive, bro.
I know
people can barely afford a standard. So
I don't know. It's my
your
prediction.
standard, your entry level touring.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll see. Could be gone.
It's an interesting prediction. Just arguing the other side.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have brought that up if they were on the site. It's really making me wonder.
But we don't know what they did put on the site, and maybe by releasing, they needed to release the standard at the same time. Because if they come out with some changes that also may be on the special models, it's going to give it away. Yeah. They're trying to do a virtual launch, so there's a lot that they could do.
I find it weird. I find it very weird that the standard is not released.
And I get that. I'm just saying there could be some other changes to those that they want to keep secret squirrel. I mean, they did the bare minimum here. There's a lot of bikes that are unspoken for on the website. Interesting, Lurch, to further that conversation is they put the Road Glide Limited and the Ultra Limited. No VVT, no fairing changes, which we're going to get into. We're not going to we're going to talk bodies later. But so there you go. So that's your full touring models. Interestingly, we'll talk about it in a bit, but I just want to give the precursor to it, is if they're not changing those and they're going to change other things on the other ones, that kind of solidifies and deadlines the touring, the full bagger, because if you're like, people will just wait for next year. If there's a bunch of cool shit on the specials and the standards and all that, they're going to be like, there's nothing new on my touring model because they're already up on the site. So I will wait till next year. Kind of deadlines that. I don't know. Kind of interesting, huh?
That happens somewhat, I would say, this year too, when they come out with the VVT motors. There's, I didn't buy one. I'm waiting.
Right.
I want to see what this year brings.
Yep. So that's some deep conversation on that. Now, I do believe, obviously, we've already got bikes on the site with the 114s. And of course, I have to believe, like I already said, the new special models at minimum will come with 114 VVT, variable valve timing, like we saw in the 2023 CVOs that were released last year. But I do believe any of the ST models will be rocking that 117 to keep them a little bit separate. If we even get a new ST model, we don't even know about that. But I do believe obviously those will be VVT2. So
it makes sense that they would be.
Yeah. And I do believe it's a safe bet. I think me and Lurch agree on this to say that Harley will reserve that big 121 cubic inch VVT motor that we saw in the 2023 CVOs. They're going to reserve that for only the CVOs. Obviously, that will keep them separate and unique from the rest of the lineup, which obviously, guys, is traditional, what we've seen in the past for CVOs. So,
yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. We are just getting started here. So we got motors. We talked that. We'll move down here and Lurch.
Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero 3D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation. That equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years of experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero and Goldstrike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales@zero3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, so check out Zero 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwings. Barry Up help support us and head on over to Law Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products.
All right. Diving back in here. We're good. We still got 10 minutes. Lurch is giving me a look.
Okay.
I got to go. We got to take it. You won't know because you're listening to podcast. Remember, we got to take a break. I got to pick up my daughter from school real quick and come back and finish this. But we can definitely dive into the next section.
Right.
So
sounds good.
Let's see. Motors. Yeah, we did that. So let's move on, guys, into body styles and fairings for 2024. All right. So there was a video I released when Harley invited me to Monterey, California in July of last year, guys. It's on the YouTube channel. They invited me to test ride and review the new 2023 CVOs, which was an absolute unbelievable experience. Just me and Blockhead were the only two that went down there and got to really test ride and we had all the specs at that point. We were the first ones to get to do that, and that was really cool. Now, I made a prediction in that video that in 2024, okay, so if taking it back, if you're unaware, those 2023 CVOs are complete platform redesigns. So we got the new 121 VVT, we got different completely redesigned fairing, which I'm sure you all seen both the Street Glide and Road Glide, different shark nose, different bat nose, really massive changes from what we've been used to seeing for the past years. And so with there was more changes than that. The whole new screen, digital, speedo, everything, a complete integrated digital dash system, infotainment system, if you will. So a lot of new stuff. So I made a prediction in that video that the 2024, and I even said maybe 2025, they'd move much of those changes they made of the new features, such as the fairing redesign, maybe motor stuff, which we've already said, like add some VVT, but they'd move that over to the 2024-2025 special model lineup, your Street Glide special, your Road Glide special, stuff like that. They didn't do it to the Road King special, clearly, right? Because it's out. Yep. So I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and then we'll see what Lurch has to say, that the Street and Road Glide specials only, will get the completely new fairing redesign we saw on those 2023 CVOs. While the standard models, I know Lurch doesn't think they're coming back, but let's just assume they are.
They may. I don't know. It's just weird.
I know it is. While the standard models will have the older design. That's really what we talked about already, going to separate the standard from along with the VVT. Now in 2025, I believe the standard models will also get that fairing upgrade. I just think it's going to take them time to implement that. Plus, they've got a lot of other stock and stuff they were already working on, just like the 107 motor, which I think is going to die out. They've still got, they're throwing them in the standard, soft tail standard and all that. So, yeah, what do you think about that? This is a huge one because me and you have talked about it quite a bit.
Just from a production standpoint, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have the two different fairings. They haven't for a long time. When they switched over, the standards and the specials had the same fairings on them, even when they, redesigned like the Road Glide in 15, right. So I haven't seen them have a different fairing for a special versus a standard. Although I think your thought process is interesting on it. Maybe they'll stagger into it, but eventually they're going to get to a point where it just isn't cost effective to be retooling and making different fairings.
Right.
It just makes sense from if they want to keep the prices down, and you want to streamline your process of manufacturing, and so it's got to go to just the new fairings at some point. And if it's not this year, it's going to be next year.
What's your make a prediction? Because we're going to be talking. Because we're going to do another episode. If you guys didn't know, I didn't mention it yet. Well, we will mention it right after the. Did we say when the right after that virtual event on January 24th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Central, we're going to be dropping a video shortly after that. We're going to watch the virtual event, and then we're going to drop a video giving insight, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we're seeing. And obviously we'll be having a lot of fun saying, well, I was completely right on that, or I was completely wrong on that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So you got to make a prediction is what I'm saying, son.
My prediction, I've already said the standards are going away, so I guess I got to stick with that.
You're sticking with that. Okay.
I don't know that I have to.
We got to write. I'm going to hang on.
Yeah,
we got to do some of this. So you're standing, and this is fun. So you're standing. I'm going to put Matt. So you're saying no standards, and I'm saying
you've kind of changed my mind a little bit in that if they put the standards out, then perhaps it would give something away. Whereas if you look at the Road King that doesn't have the fairing,
right?
What are you giving away?
Nothing.
I mean,
114,
different shaped saddlebags, maybe, because of the new design. But when you're talking standard Road Glides and Street Glides, then perhaps putting the standard out would give away what they're doing. I don't know, but I will say that I believe the specials.
He's wavering.
No, I believe the specials will have the new design fairing this year.
Okay, good. So there we go. And this is what Lurch was talking about up front. These are, and we'll talk about at the end what it would take us to take the leap. So we'll do that very last. Okay. So with that new fairing design, the special models will also come, I believe, my prediction, the specials only will come with that new complete inner dash upgrade with the entirely new digital dash and infotainment system like we saw in those 2023 CVOs. While the standard models will have the older Boombox GTS unit that has been out since 2019 and, in my humble opinion, certainly needs to be retired. I think we're going to see all over the next 2 or 3 years completely phase out, and everything's going to go to that digital dash integration. So, and now, like I said previously, these special models will have the 114 M8 VVT. My fingers are crossed on that. So we'll talk about that, with the motor, VVT, the new dash, and the fairing. That's like getting there to where you're going to think about it. But if it only comes with like the fairing and not the VVT, it's just going to change things a lot. But we'll remember that. We'll kind of talk that at the end. So, all right. So now I know my prediction here is really bold, but I know I'm just saying if Harley did this, if they did what I just predicted, and I think you agreed with it. Actually, I didn't ask you. Let me ask you, do you think that they're going not only the VVT, you agree with that 114 VVT, new fairings?
Yes.
What about inner dash?
I believe that as well.
Okay. Yeah. So we're agree on that. So that makes it easy. So with that said, I think we can both agree that sales would spike big time in 24 for special models because a lot of guys like me and you, we opened with it, have been waiting for this type of massive change. M8 wasn't good enough to do it for me. The boombox, yay. I just put the newer boombox in my 14. So that was hard. But this is like complete overhaul of the Harley-Davidson, road glide and street glide. So I think sales would spike. I think a lot of guys that have been holding out like us, I think there's a lot of us would, not specifically talking about us, but a lot of the market would be like, okay, now it's worth it to me. Now it's worth it to spend me that premium price because I'm getting premium changes, so to speak.
Yeah, I hope there's some. It probably won't happen, but I'd like to see some suspension upgrades on the ST, not the STs, the specials as well. They're still not outstanding.
What is it?
The special.
What about
models? The suspension.
Oh, suspension. Yeah.
The suspension's still.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yep. The CVO was pretty good.
Yeah.
The 23 CVO, but
and I know pricing, and you've got to differentiate between the different bikes. I don't know. I can always put new suspension on, but we'll see.
Or they could team with a different company, and just, they're already in, with Öhlins on the, STs. So maybe they could start bringing, some sort of consumer grade, to those bikes. Who knows what they've got in the works there, but it'd be nice to see. I agree. I'm not making that prediction, but it's a want.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it on the specials generally that they put upgraded suspension on them,
right?
Unlike the STs and the CVOs. We'll see.
Yeah. So if my predictions are wrong or Lurch, which we probably will be.
I'm probably wrong.
You can beat us up, guys, because right after, like I say, that virtual event on the 24th, stay tuned. But we're not afraid to throw our predictions and our wants out there. So
it'd be boring if we didn't throw out some crazy shit.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So now for some more bold predictions, Lurch, we're going to hang ourselves out here. If we haven't already hung ourselves, we're really gonna, and we're not afraid to do this, guys. Because like we said, it's part of the fun. You can beat us up later. And it'll be fun to see, on the 24th, what we're right about and what we're wrong about.
If I'm right and the standards are gone, I'm gonna shit my pants because that's a bold one.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it's going to happen. As you were getting ready to take off, I thought there's a good chance that somebody is in their car right now listening to me and going, that guy's an idiot.
Well, they do that every time you're on the mic, so that's nothing new. Just
fuck you. But I was doing some research while you're gone too.
Yeah, you were. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm curious to hear it. So these are some more bolder predictions. Hey, I'm just be happy if I'm right about one thing, honestly, about my record here. All right. So you all know, I'll start with this. So King of the Baggers, it's blowing up, guys. Over the past several years, I followed it heavily. We did last year. I'm going to follow it this year. And in my video, if you remember, Hardy invited me down to Arizona to hang out with the factory team and riders preseason last year. That was a cool trip. And I made some predictions then. All right. Like I said, maybe they're just my wants, but here's what I believe. Harley, I believe, is working on some sort of King of the Baggers inspired street legal model. So stay with me here. It's not going to be like an ST because a lot of people say, well, that's what the ST. Nah, that was a different bike. And loosely, I think this is something much bigger than that. Something that really represents King of the Baggers more like a street or road glide. And I think this bike is going to be inspired to, have more lean angle. It's going to have mid controls. And other things, whatever they decide to put up. But the biggest thing will be lean angle and mid controls to make it really race inspired. Something that basically, you could ride on the street. And if you're a novice racer or you want to get involved in the sport, you could literally take this bike and jump on the track on the weekend and do some King of the Baggers racing. Because I do think there's going to be leagues popping up. That's another prediction aside from this. As King of the Baggers gets bigger and bigger, there's going to be some, I'm sure there are racetracks already that you can, have memberships to and go out and I'm sure you can take your Hardy. But at this point, it would have had to be completely built from you. This is something that's going to be like a platform. Again, being street legal, so you don't have to trailer it, but looking badass and maybe sitting up centered a little bit more over it instead of, it'll be a touring bike without being a touring bike, if that makes sense.
It'll be different seating position, mid controls, high bags, a lot of good ground clearance and
high exhaust.
Angle. Yeah. And
all for lean angle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't frame out on the track.
So limited number, you think, or?
Ooh, that I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how many.
That I don't know. But and that's what I was getting to. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, is that might be, they might combine that. That's like the replacement for the ST. Like they went ST and now this will be that somewhere in between.
Or they get rid of the standards, the special, the ST, and the king of the baggers.
Yeah, well, maybe. Or yeah, I don't know. But that's a bold prediction I'm making. If they don't see it this year, I believe we'll see it next year. And the reason I say all this is because Harley really has been pushing King of the Baggers. They're heavily invested now. If you didn't know, there was 2 factory team riders, Kyle and Travis Wyman, and does not look like Travis is returning to the team. They picked up who was a Vance and Hines factory rider, James Rispoli, who is a great rider. I was happy to see them pick him up, and we're hoping good things for him. So you got Kyle and James. Kyle Wyman and James Rispoli now for King of the Baggers Factory Harley Racing Team. So looking for big things in 2024 there. So because they're pushing the sport so much, I believe that, this would only bring more attention to it, because certainly it has brought a lot of eyes on Harley-Davidson because of the King of the Baggers series. So there we go. I think it's going to be released in 2024. That's my prediction. And I also want to remind everybody that this here on the 24th is just the first virtual launch event for 2024. You can certainly bet that Harley will make other announcements later in 2024, as we saw in 2023. This seems to be the new norm. Now, I'd certainly say that at a minimum, they'll be releasing, of course, an icon model, maybe an enthusiast collection like they did during the 2024 season, maybe other things, but
I think those 2 are pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah,
icon. Yeah.
And let's not
the enthusiast, yes.
Yeah, and let's not forget about the electric live wire segment of the company. They did release the S2 Del Mar last year, and certainly may have something else for us in store in 2024. And Lurch and I were actually talking it off mic today about how fun that bike was, because we both got, Lurch and I both went down to the 120th anniversary in Milwaukee last year, and we both got to spend a short amount of time, but a fair amount of time, not only on the Livewire 1, but the S2 Del Mar, and had a blast, right?
Yeah, I felt like a kid again. I was telling you that when I got on that thing, I literally felt, I was smiling. I could feel myself grinning from ear to ear as I was ripping on that throttle, because it is so much fun. It's just all the power all at once. There's no engine noise, which is weird. It makes you feel like you're on a scooter being a kid again. Will it replace my touring bike? Absolutely not. But man, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It could be something to add to the stable for running around town. And,
oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Just for the fun factor alone. Just for the fun
factor of it, yeah. If I had the money to do it, to have all kinds of bikes, I'd have one. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude.
I actually told my wife, I said, I'd half tempted to get one for you to ride.
Dude, I know. I would love it.
I had to find out how to kind of retard the throttle a little bit so she couldn't get all the power all at once, or just make sure all the safety stuff's on. But
right.
Yeah, I said, I think you can handle it. It's just like riding a bike.
Yeah, it's just a light motorcycle with lots of power. All right.
You don't have to worry about, switching gears and all kinds of stuff. You just got to worry about throttle and brake.
Yeah, that's it. Just roll it.
But if you want to ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already.
Oh, my anus.
Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials. And it's unlike a gel pads that will leak if punctured. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easily cleans, and helps dampen those darn vibrations.
Oh,
vibrations on my ass. With plenty of models to choose from, they'll assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head on over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions.
Get a butt buffer already. Do it. Got you right off the bat on that one, bro. It's good. I haven't lost it. All right, so here is King of the Baggers. Next, I want to talk about the Pan America Adventure Bike, guys. Now, if you're new to the podcast here, I will let you know that we ride street here and also heavily involved in adventure riding. Now, to take you back just a little bit, it'll put everything in perspective here for you before we make some predictions. So I originally got to test ride and review the Pan America, Harley's first stab, don't forget, of the adventure bike market in Sturgis when it was released back in 2021. And I want to remind everybody that the Pan America quickly became the #1 selling full-size touring-style adventure bike in North America. stomping on long-standing adventure motorcycle brands. Now, it did really upset the adventure market at the time, and even I was surprised at this. So now, following up, I got to test ride and review the Pan America again last year at the TourTech Adventure Rally in Plain, Washington. Lurch, Big Daddy, Oscar, and I all went, and it was really awesome for me to get back on that bike. And it really was everything I remembered from back in 2021. And I had some, just like one comment somebody got on the YouTube video out of hundreds and hundreds of comments so far, but he was really like, where did you get that information? It was not the number one. And he said, I Googled it.
Oh, well, that must be true.
Oh, it must be true. And so I actually responded nicely, but I said, can you source anything rather than Google to help me out here? And I said, I'll source a couple articles here for you, reputable. I go, it actually was the number one selling adventure bike in North America. So anyways, it's not an arguable point because it's every big publication, anybody who's anybody on the internet has many old articles you can reference, especially back in 21, 22, when it was taking the adventure market by storm. So it's not really an arguable point as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, I wanted to bring that up. So I will tell you this, if you don't know the adventure market, we've done podcasts right here about it, Lurch, is really blowing up. And I can tell you that over the past several years, especially the middle to lightweight adventure market has blown up. In fact, a couple episodes will be coming out soon. They aren't out yet, are they?
No.
Oscar,
they're getting pushed by some of this 2024 stuff that's timely.
Like this one.
That around the 700 cc area, that market's really getting crazy. It's blowing up. Everybody's making one. So
going back, I was going to say Lurch and I, Big Daddy, Oscar, we all did a two-part episode. Mm-hmm. And so look forward to that coming, where we really dive into the adventure and dirt bike market and where things are. So companies...
it'll probably be, actually, now I'm looking at our podcast, it'll probably be after this one. So it won't be too long after this. You can listen to all that. 2 full episodes of Dirt Talk.
There you go. Coming up, guys. So these companies are really competing, and they are putting out bikes faster, literally, than we can keep up here. So over the past several years, I have predicted, especially after TourTech Rally, that Harley would be foolish if they weren't trying to capitalize on the market. And I do believe that they are in the process. They have to be of designing a model to compete. Now, I have predicted on the videos several times that it's going to be a 975cc version of the Pan America, which would still be a really cool bike. I think now, with the middleweight, lightweight adventure market, I really hope at this point that if Harley was working on a bike like this, that they even go smaller and lighter than that to compete, like Lurch said, somewhere in that middle to lightweight 700 is what you said, adventure market. I think that would really take the market. So you have anything to say before?
Well, the 975 made sense at the time, because they had the Revolution Max motor, they had the 1250, they had the 975. In our minds, that's easy. Just take that 975 and slap it in there and lighten it up, make it smaller. But there's probably a lot more to that.
Yeah, right. And the engineers would say so.
I'm sure there is. I mean, just a smaller.
You don't. They got the motor,
not just a smaller motor, but a smaller and lighter bike. And so, if they're going to do it, I'm guessing based on knowledge of the company, they do a lot of research and ask riders that. That 975 probably is not the best idea these days. It's probably going to be something in that 700 to 800 cc. Mm-hmm. So it'd be interesting to see if they do that, because that's a very comparable bike. It just would be, competent bike. But that would be, that's 1250. It doesn't feel like it. We've talked about that in other podcasts. It doesn't feel that heavy because it's just so well balanced. It rides like a much lighter bike, but I'd still like to see something in that around that 7 to 800 class.
Yep, right in there with that whole market. I agree. I think that would take the
little more dirt than street, just enough street to get you there. The 1250 is a real good bike because it is good on the street and it's good in the dirt. But I would like something that's a little more dirt and just enough street to get there. Just enough to get me there. Kind of like our KLRs are.
That's exactly the market we're talking about.
They're not comfortable. I don't want to tour America on it, but it'll get me up into the woods.
Yep, I agree. So with that said, I'm boldly predicting again that in 2024, maybe not at the January event, for reasons we'll talk about at some point, that Harley will release a model like that. I think they would completely upset the adventure market again. just like they did with that full-size heavyweight, guys. So, okay, so maybe I'm just hoping here, but I'll throw it out anyways. Truth be told, and I don't think I said this on my video. I didn't. I cut it out. I had it in, and I cut it out because of time. So you get more here. I actually did have it in the video. I remember the edit, and I cut it out because the video was getting too long. So here's my personal wants. I wish Harley would actually make a dirt bike, like full. We talked more dirt. I want the middleweight, like we just talked about, but I wish they would get into dirt bikes again and just make dirt bikes, something like the Husqvarna TE300, for the kind of riding we do, like some single track trail riding, like the dirt bikes I'm looking at now. I know I saw other comments on that too, on our video, that people would just want Harley to also make dirt bikes. That market, as you'll hear on our 2-part series, is out of control too, the dirt bike market. And I would be all in on something like that. So
yeah, I think it's been since the 70s since they were involved in dirt bikes.
I think it's been that long at least.
Here's their 1978 Harley-Davidson MX250. See if I can show you a picture of that thing. I mean, you keep in mind it was 1978.
Right. Well, yeah, it's going to be a dirt bike of 1978. Yeah, exactly what I'd expect it to look like, bro.
So they've done it.
They have.
It would be cool.
And I think it would be really cool if they got back into it. That's not a prediction or anything that I think is even remotely they're working on, but I just had to. I think that's
a personal want.
Yes, I think that's why I threw it out of the video. So interestingly, just to throw Indian in here, we saw last year in 23, and we're going to see it this year too, those two companies competing with each other. Obviously, Indian's trying to take market share from Harley, the big dog. That's just the way it is in the industry. Some people get offended when I say Harley's the big dog. They are. They sell way more Harleys than Indian sells Indians. Okay, that's a fact. But because it's interesting to me that they've been trying to compete. But Indian to this day, they came out with the Pan American 21. Indian's done nothing to answer that challenge. There is a challenge that I think Indian has done and Harley hasn't answered, which we're going to get to. But I certainly think Indian, I'd be interested to see if they aren't working on some sort of adventure bike to compete with the Pan America to try to take some of those sales away from Harley too. So we'll just have to see. I have no predictions there. I just thought it was an interesting point, speaking of the Pan America.
Yeah, the closest they'd have would be the 2023 FTR Rally last year, but that's not.
Yeah. Let me look at it.
Yeah.
2023 Indian
FTR Rally.
I remember seeing this, but I want to see it again. Images.
It's more of a flat track bike.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
It's definitely not a competitor to the Pan America.
No, not at all.
That's not an answer to the Pan. No. Not. Okay.
Not at all. I'm not saying it is. But
I do remember seeing it.
Closest thing I can see as of late.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have another very bold prediction. But let's say this real quick. Before I hang myself out on this one, Lurch may hang himself out on it too. I just want to remind everybody that after the launch event airs on the 24th, I will be dropping a video. We will on this channel with my reactions, our reactions, opinions, and we'll be giving further insight. And like I always do, guys, Harley's event is going to be a bunch of fluff. That's fine. That's what big companies do. They make overproduced videos with very little with not enough information. So we're going to try to do it. We're not going to try. We will do it in our style, which is to get rid of all the fluff and break it down for you guys and keep it very succinct. So you really know what they actually put out and what it means to the consumer and you as a rider. So get over, hit that subscribe button and bell icon. That way on the YouTube channel, that way you'll actually get a notification when we drop mini videos, but you'll get a notification when that drops after the event. We'd like to have you guys over there and get your input too in the comments and all that. We have a large community over there on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to, I said that. And also make sure obviously you guys are already listening to the podcast, because I can assure you that after that will probably be a few days at least, if not a week. But we will be doing, the video is going to come out like lickety split. Not Lurch, if you didn't know what lickety split is, that's fast.
It's very quick.
That's very quick. The video will come out lickety split. The podcast, we will do a follow-up on it, just like this form, and we will get in much depth on, again, our reactions, opinions, and cut out all the fluff and what it really means to you guys. So obviously come back to the podcast and you can look forward to hearing those reactions and opinions. So, all right. Are you searching for the easiest and quickest attachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that could come loose and slap your paint.
Slap your paint.
Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome, quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special. Yeah, you can't find it anywhere else. Yep. And these guys ride. They truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bikes to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Head over to the law-abiding biker store. Check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. We'll be rocking our Rick Racks on our East Coast 12-day trip this year. Can't wait for it, but I definitely would not leave home without my Rick Rack. All right, so
I should probably get one.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. No doubt.
You know, when your boss says, hey, you need to order yourself one of those, normally you think, yeah, I should get on and get myself a Rick Rack, but I just haven't got around to it. I need one for the top of my tour pack.
Yeah, you could definitely. So the reason Rick Lurch doesn't have one right now is he usually throws all his stuff in his tour pack, but we have them for the top of the trunk, and that would just allow, so he wouldn't have to, I guess we've got our bags for the tour packs too, right? So you can do it that way.
But, Rick Rack's got the one for the the rack, the regular 2-up rack, and then they got one for the tour rack.
We also have bags that fit inside your tour bags.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tour pack, so that you can, if you do it that way, you can just take your bag out. But it gives you.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't picking up what you're putting down. Yes, we do have suitcases that go inside the tour pack, and what I like about them is there's 2 of them, and they stack on top of each other, so it's easy to carry. Yeah. And then we got some ones for the saddlebags too. All
over in the Law-Abiding Biker store. Just look at our touring section, our bags. Bags and racks section.
Sorry, my brain was not working there for a second.
That's all right. But yes, that doubles your storage because you get a whole nother bag that comes off in like 10 seconds on your tour pack, and you can wheel it right to the room. So, all right. So my last prediction, and Lurch, I know this is a real big stretch, but heck, I'm going all in at this point. Yes.
I have done a little research while you're gone that may lead to this.
Okay. Lead to it? We're already there.
Well, it may add credibility to it.
Oh, good. Nicely played.
Or not.
Okay, so that's good. That's what this is all about. So for many years now, we've all heard and we've talked about it in the podcast. We've had videos on it. We thought it was coming out. It's the elusive Bronx Street Fighter model that Harley was working on. But then they did stall on it, and it has never been released. Now, we can tell you that definitely upset some consumers. I know many were we saw the comments. They were pissed, and they really wanted that bike to see the project come to fruition. They were ready to buy that bike. And I know many still long for that. As you'll see in the comments on this recent video I just popped on these predictions, as people were still really wanting that bike. So we still hear about it to this day. Now, this is where I said earlier, the Pan America Indian hasn't answered it. This is where I believe Harley hasn't answered Indian. So Indian has the FTR. And as of now, in my opinion, Harley has not responded whatsoever to compete with that model. And I'm telling you, the Bronx Street Fighter would do just that, guys, if you look at it. There's pictures of it. I put it up on the video. But some may argue, and I think it's not a great argument at all, that the Harley Sportster S is Harley's answer to the FTR. But if you look at these two bikes and you spec them out and you look at everything, they are different enough, quite different to me, that they're not direct competitors. So I think there's room, if you will, for Harley to make a FTR, quote unquote. Yeah, the
Sportster S is close, but not quite.
Close what? Are you just looking at it, or are you looking at specs?
Just in looks.
Okay.
Just in looks. It's still got more of a classic, cruiser front end on it, whereas the FTR looks more, it leans a little bit more, in my opinion, to the sport bike market.
Correct.
Or sport bike style.
Somewhere in between sports bike and It's very unique. It's a beautiful bike. I love the FTR. I think that's a great looking bike. I'd actually like to ride one. But I do think Harley needs to answer that. And I can't think of any better way to do that than with just popping a Bronx. So there's my prediction. And I know that one's Bolt, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Lurch. We're going to see a Bronx Street Fighter pop in 24. I don't know about this event, but sometime in 24.
The Fat Bob 114 is missing so far from the 2024 lineup. It was in the 2023 lineup.
Okay.
That one, the back end looks a little bit more like the FTR. Again, though, up front, it's more of a cruiser styling bike. So is that one missing because they're going to make changes to it to compete with the FTR, or is it completely
the 2023 Fat Bob
going away? Yeah, look up the 2023 Fat Bob.
I need to look at it again.
It's again, the back end looks a little bit more like an FTR, but the front end's more of a it's a little more of a classic cruiser.
It's just not that, like you said.
That one's
you got to get over the hump to the sport bike,
right?
Like somewhere moving towards sports bike. If they would, But I can see how people would try to argue that.
And I'm not saying that it would directly compare, but what I'm saying is it's missing. Yeah, it's missing so far for 2024. So are they going to
either discontinue it
or discontinue it? Yeah, is there going to be a Bronx Street Fighter in its place?
Oh yeah,
or
there you go.
Are they going to work on that to make that comparable to the FTR, make it compete better? I don't know. It's interesting.
It is very interesting.
That mid-sized market's pretty contentious. Harley and Indian are battling back and forth. We did the last podcast that came out. We're talking about the 2024 models, where Indian claims to have the market share of that size bike, the Scout-sized bike, and so they're definitely going back and forth, which I like.
Yeah,
competition, the market's good. So the fact that Fat Bob's not on there for 2024 as of yet doesn't mean it won't come out, but it just, one would tend to think that it's either getting changed up or it's going away.
Yep. That's what I would say. Good information there. I say it's going away or it's just going to replace with the Bronx Street Fighter, because I can't believe that they wouldn't have put it on the soft pre-launch if it was just going to stay the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Either major changes to it or be replaced.
Or axed, Interesting. It's a cool bike. The Fat Bob is really cool, fast. It's light. I mean, it's got that big motor in it. I mean, what a great bike that would be to ride. Never have had the opportunity to ride one of those. So, all right. Anything else to clean that up before we do our final stuff here and wrap this thing up?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So those are all my big, bold prediction, guys. And I know there are a lot, but we will see on the 24th. I'm actually excited for the event. Now, Lurch and I have talked what I would do. So here's what it would take for me. And I'm just going to tell you, I know I should not be, I try to, be as frugal as I can. I put a lot back into the business here and things like that. So I try not to, heck, I'm riding a 214 Street Glide Special for a reason, guys. I haven't really even batted an eye. When they came out with the M8s, Milwaukee 8s, I get to ride one, my police bike every day, my full-time paying job. But that personally, I never really for 1 second went, oh, I'm going to upgrade. I was like, oh, it's cool. Same bike, new motor. Cool. Love my 103. My 103 twin cam. So I haven't batted an eye. So what would it take for me to bat an eye? And I'm not saying I would immediately buy it. I might even wait a year, but here's what it'd take for me to actually sit and think about it, where I'm like, okay, I'm either going to get it this year or next year, or I'm looking at upgrading now. So here's what I would need. I would need the Street Glide Special 2024 to have a 114 or larger with VVT. If it doesn't have VVT, I'm not interested. I need a complete package. So 114 VVT, I need it to have the new CVO fairing, the new style bat wing fairing, just like we saw. And I need it to have a completely integrated dash digital, like on the CVOs. So basically what I'm asking for is, other than all the fluffy parts that they put on CVOs, I need those three things brought to it. I don't care about anything else, but those three things it must have. And then you will hear this guy talking about possibly upgrading this year or in 2025. Lurch.
Before I get to what it would take for me to get a new one, I'm just going to double down on there's not going to be standard Street Glides or Road Glides. because last year there was no standard Road King, so there is a precedent for that. They have done it.
They have just not with the road glides and street glides.
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be big?
Yeah.
Ooh, so I'm doubling down on that. I'm probably wrong, but what the hell?
You're wrong.
So what would it take me to get it? The same things actually that you have.
Would you get it in 24 though? Or are you going to hold out a year?
I'm going to hold out a year.
How come?
Not because of anything other than finances.
Gotcha.
For me personally.
Yep.
I got a truck payment that's going to be paid off after this year and something else. So just purely financial reasons, I would wait a year. Not because,
but if you had
don't buy the first
cash,
model year. If I had fat cash, I'd just do it.
Okay.
That's the only thing that would keep me from doing it this year and waiting until next year. Solely just personal finances. The only thing though I did add on there, because I had the same things you did. Got to have that new fairing. Got to have a 114 or bigger with the VVT. Got to have that Skyline OS digital dash integrated.
Yeah.
And this is not a big deal because I think it's available on them anyways. But I would like to have all the rider safeties. The leaning. The leaning.
Yes, that comes
ABS
standard on
all that kind of
special
stuff.
models.
I think it does. But coming from a 15 where I don't have anything at all other than ABS, I would want that. But I think that, like I said, that'll be standard. So basically, we're looking for the same things.
Yeah. Nice. What were you going to say? You were going to say something about the Bronx that was going to back up what I had to say.
I already did.
Oh, you did? What was it?
The fact that the Fat Bob is missing currently from the lineup.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah, it would leave room for another bike.
I see.
So it's either going to, if they're pulling it away.
Yep.
And they're
sorry, I missed it. I thought it was like something, there's a leaked document.
No,
or something.
not at all. No, I was just looking at what was
sorry,
what was out last year and what's out this year. So far this year, there's no Fat Bob 114. So assuming that they don't change that bike up dramatically, let's say they cut it, it leaves room for another bike, like potentially the Bronx Street Fighter, which would compete with Indian FTR.
Yep. Very good, guys. A lot to think about. And the 24th is coming up on us real quick, and we can't wait to see you guys on the flip side after the virtual event. All right. We love our regular sponsors up front, our patron members. We want you to become a patron member, for God's sakes. We want to get to know you. We want to get you benefits. But hey, if the only way you can support us or the way you want to support us is through a flat donation, we never balk at a flat donation. Also, just to mention, these donations aren't just flat donations. A lot of people are purchasing in our store. And when you purchase in our store, I know it's amazing. Every time we see it, we're humbled by it. People will leave tips. And never expected, always appreciated, guys. Those tips in there. So a lot of these donations are because of tips within the store.
We'd like to thank Tricia Pone of Blackwood, New Jersey, Eric Rosengren, and Mike Pone of West Hampton, New York,
Richard Brierly of East Hampton, New York, Ronald Hergert of Phoenix, Arizona, and Ronald Gailey of Ocean View, Delaware. If you just want to leave a flat donation, of course, you can leave the tip in the store. But if you just want to leave a flat donation, lawabidingbiker.com/donate is how you do that. Also, lawabidingbiker.com, you can go there on the homepage. There is a very large donate button that will take you through to the same place. So multiple ways to do that, guys. And we've got a lot going on here in 2024, ramping up the store. At some point, we'll be doing a podcast on that. We're looking at some big things and bringing a lot more products to the store, as you saw in 2023. Well, that's not stopping. 2023 was just a warm-up for us. 2024, it's time to buckle down. So be checking back at the store for all the new products and additions we put out there. And like I say, at some point, we'll try to do a podcast with kind of an update. We're going to have access to a lot more stuff. We got in our new building last year, our new store building. You heard all about that. And we're in it now. It's pretty set, and we've got things going on down there. Big announcement. We're very glad Oscar is coming to start working in the store for us, helping with some shipping and things like that. So very excited to get Oscar on board there. You've all heard him on the podcast, seen him in videos. And we'll try to get him, obviously, on a lot more podcasts, because I know y'all love him. We'll try to get old Oscar. We all love him around here. We'll get him on some more podcasts here in 2024. So there you go, guys. I hope you're well. Hope you're out there getting some riding in. As we record this podcast, I'm looking out the window. It's snowing here.
Yeah.
But we've had a mild winter.
Yeah, we have been lucky.
It's been awesome. Awesome. Dumping in the mountains. I just got back from snowboarding yesterday, and they're supposed to get, like, over the next, I was looking at the report over the next 3 days, like up 2.5, 3 feet up there. So
Wow.
they need it. They need it because a lot of stuff's still showing. So that'll kind of cover everything. So it's full winter here, but like I say, it has been mild. Guys have been riding. I've seen a lot of motorcycles out. I've been able to ride in some days. And so, yeah, just appreciative for that.